Hello from the White Mountains of New Hampshire. This month we're staying in North Woodstock, a little mountain town that's just a few minutes from Franconia Notch State Park and dozens of national forest trailheads. This area is a true hiking paradise. These granite mountains are a stark contrast to the Appalachians that we've experienced up to this point. They are steeper, rockier, and are filled with higher elevation dwelling animals like red squirrels, golden-crowned kinglets, winter wrens, black bears, and New England's favorite mascot, the majestically awkward moose. A walk through the balsam fir and red spruce-dominated forests in July reveals blueberries loaded with ripe fruit, and a deep green forest floor that is flecked with the fiery red and cobalt blue of the blue-bead lily and Canadian bunchberry, plants that prefer the cooler, more acidic forests and are found more infrequently further south. This month, I got to visit 3 lovely nature centers, Squam Lake Nature Center and Tin Mountain Conservation Center in New Hampshire, and North Branch Nature Center in the nearby Green Mountains of Vermont. Nature centers have been so wonderfully welcoming to me throughout this project, giving me an insider's look at their immediate environment and the nature education work that they pour themselves into to benefit their communities. At an all-ages Riverwalk event at North Branch Nature Center, we spent a few hours strolling up and down the North Branch of the Winooski River, netting and examining freshwater critters like hellgrammites, salamanders, minnows, and crayfish. There was one particular kid who was terrified to go into the shallow stream because of the crayfish. "Will I need stitches like if a lobster bit me?" she asked. After lots of tears and an intervention with her mom, she eventually dipped her little toes into the water and announced to the group, "I am facing my fears." That little girl reminded me so much of myself when I was growing up. Although I was usually too proud to admit that I was afraid, I would go along with activities like this but secretly be filled with fear and unable to fully enjoy the experience. But after years of being repeatedly exposed to experiences like this by my parents and summer camp leaders and older siblings, and after learning on my own that the wonder and joy that I feel when I'm outside can outweigh the fears, I was eventually able to feel more comfortable in nature. If her mom hadn't been there to give her a pep talk, I would have said something like this: "I used to be afraid, just like you. And guess what? Probably a lot of the other kids here are afraid of the crayfish biting their toes too. They're just hiding it a little bit more. I used to be so scared of snakes that I'd walk around my yard in knee-high boots in the heat of the summer. And I still get scared too. But if you keep going outside and keep trying to be brave, eventually you'll start to feel at home in nature, and it might even become one of the most precious and joy-giving aspects of your life, like it has for me. You just have to keep being brave." I think that fear is a massive barrier for a lot of folks when it comes to developing a meaningful relationship to our natural environments. For many kids, especially ones who are prone to anxiety like I was, one negative experience can cause them to avoid the outdoors altogether. While visiting all these nature centers and seeing all the outdoor summer camps that are in session, the school field trips, and the free family nature programs, I've been reminded again and again of the vital role that nature educators play in raising up the next generation of healthy, active humans who are respectful of their environment. Many kids will never gain the confidence they need to come alive outdoors unless someone shows them how. So shout out to all the outdoor educators, parents, and caregivers who gently empower kids to feel capable in the outdoors. It's a gift that can enrich their lives for decades to come. Other highlights from this month included a weekend backpacking in the breadloaf wilderness of the Green Mountains on the Long Trail, and making mac and cheese on our camp stove while enjoying the most majestic sunset with the sun reflecting off faraway Lake Champlain. We had lots of family and friends come to visit this month, which is one of the perks of living in a cool place, and it was nice to be around familiar faces after 3 months of pretty much flying solo. Artistically, I'm continuing to experiment with different color palettes and compositions with the goal of making every illustrated spread of my book look unique from the previous pages, while still maintaining a cohesive style. This is the biggest body of work that I've ever created, which forces me to depart from some of my go-to techniques. I can already see some of my artistic skills expanding and evolving as I look back over the past few months of paintings for this book. Every day, I imagine what it will be like to hold this book of my paintings and nature essays in my hands when it is finally published in 2024. I imagine it sitting on my bookshelf and how good it will feel to forever have this tangible time capsule of the nature, art, and life discoveries that occurred in my 27th year on this earth. Keeps me going even when the project feels so far from completion. Just a few more days in New Hampshire, and then we will split the month of August between Maine and the Gaspé Peninsula along the St. Lawrence Seaway. I'm excited and a little bit nervous to break out my college French skills as we navigate a few weeks of life in rural Quebec. I'll share more soon. As always, thanks for watching and encouraging me throughout this project.